Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Tom's Model Railways. Let's just get rid of the sound effects. Okay, as you can see, this time I'm going to be showing you some more about the work I've been doing on the scenery. It's coming along very well. It gets more frugal towards that end, and I still have all the front to do, but I'll work from the back towards the front. Everything you can see here, including the rock base, all of the ground cover, the flock, the trees, the shrubs, the bushes, everything you can see is made by myself here. The scale, there's a sheep. So onto the ground cover itself. If you remember, when I began this, I used the Woodland Scenics very, very dark ground foam. That's actually what you can see right there, because if you remember, this is the unfinished piece. Now that's all gone, really. I began with that, and I've built up layer upon layer upon layer. This has 5, 6, 7 layers of ground cover as a way to build up something with really with 3 dimensions. So I'm sure you'll agree that's very effective for, let's call it, a forest floor. Even in here, I wonder if you can see, I've used some crushed rose petals just to add some colour, and I will do that. I'll be crushing some flowers to get some yellow, some blue, some green flowers, because this is going to be a springtime layout. So the ground cover is made up of darker and lighter colours mixed not so randomly. Just, you know, places like this where there's a groove, it would be wetter, it would be deeper, so it's slightly darker. I'm not sure if you can see that. I can't use the earth colours too much, because of the underlying colour of the rock there. If I use an earth colour, it has the appearance that the rock is showing through. What I have done as well is softened all the edges where the vertical and horizontal planes, where they change. There were some quite straight lines. For example, there's one here. It's quite jagged, so I'll be softening that as well. And I'm letting more of the material fall onto the actual rock face itself, because I don't want to have big, sharp, clean rock face edges. I need there to be some growth on there as well. Let's move up then to the bushes. These are not really with the scale that we're in here. The Flying Scotsman is there for comparison. These are not just bushes, these are very, very large areas of growth, big shrubs, overgrown shrubs. Now I have included some kind of bluey green in there, very occasionally, just for some contrast. I like it. There's some more in this massive growth over here. Let's get round that side. You can see that that's made up of various different shades infilled with lighter and darker, and that goes on along the back. Up here, for example, there's a big section. Now behind there, what you can see are puffballs. This one is made from wire wool. I think these two are made from wire wool, and this one is made with that wadding fabric. Now the idea is, I've got to finish painting the backdrop. Oh, incidentally, this has now changed. I did have the frame here. The idea was to put the light, but I'm going to bring this in as sky. I like the idea that this is going to be really, really bright all the way around, and the same going around that end as well. So the bushes, if you can see, they are very big. The benefits of making this here on site is that I can really go to town and splash out and really fill the landscape up, because the actual landscapes really are full up with bushes and trees and shrubs and weeds. And if I'm going to buy this stuff by the bag, then it's going to be too restrictive. I'm going to need to spend hundreds of pounds to just fill this up with bushes. So I'm very happy to be making this myself. Onto the trees. You may remember in the last video that I showed you some cuttings that I'd taken. Now I've used those. They're real wood. They come from the tops of plants, tips of trees and shrubs and everything. And how I've managed to get these is to use multiple sections glued together to give lots and lots of branches. I'm very, very pleased with the way that they have turned out. The smaller ones there, they're not puffball trees, they're not thick heavy trees, they're just trees. I don't know what kind of tree they are. I'm not going to get too I'm not going to go into too much detail about the type of tree and where they grow and things like that. I know that's a popular way of modelling, but for me right now it's all about just building up a fantasy landscape that's a forest. It's by the side of the railway, and you know, as the trains go past, it looks good and it looks natural. So that's where we are at the moment. I've started to weather the track down. For this I used a Woodland Scenics track painter, the pen, which is quite good. I do have a lot of track, so the pen ran out. I managed to get the section from where the tunnel will be all the way around here and off to where the other tunnel will be. So that's not too bad. I'm not sure whether I'm going to continue with the pen. It's a great idea, although it's quite difficult once the track has been ballasted. It seems to wear the tip out. I had to use both tips. So I'm thinking about going back to paint for that. So let's have a look then at the modelling materials. Okay, over here by the window, excuse me, this is where a lot of the action takes place. At the moment I have some new scenic material made up. This one is quite dark, as you can see, a lighter shade, that's even lighter, and this one, it's kind of like, it has the bluey kind of feel to it. that kind of flavour. This is all going to be for trees, so the consistency is very light, it's very fine, it's not too clumpy, it's just going to be clumpy enough. This here is a container. These are the leftovers from the bushes that I made before. I just wonder if you can see what we have there. In there, I'm not sure, but this is a piece of woodland scenics, and the rest of it is my own. Some tree armatures there, getting ready to go. Now these are the kind of, let's call them the leftovers of the cuttings and things, and the leftovers of the last mix of tree material. What I do is, when I'm finished and I've got the leftovers, it all goes back into a tub, gets mixed in, repainted, re-glued and used again. So that's very good. I do have some woodland scenics materials here. I bought these before I started making my own. It's good for me to use as a guide because, let's face it, the woodland scenic stuff is fantastic. The trouble for me is it's too expensive if I want to do a very, very large layout, so I'm kind of forced really to making my own. But I have to say, for me it's always been a very important and fun part of the whole hobby of model railway making. It's actually creating and making the materials. So okay, let's have a look at some of the ground cover. Okay, so here are some of the various shades and colours of ground cover that I make. As you can see, the consistency is really good, really very good. So from the greens through to greens with some brown, that gives me a good range of colours to do the dark and the light and the highlights. I'm going to say this, I've got some in here. This is the Woodland Scenics Blended Turf. I do keep some of this handy, I do like it. I have to admit that in some cases I've got mixed up as to which one I'm using. So although the Woodland Scenics ground foam is ground foam, and this is from sawdust, so they are different mediums completely, but in some cases it really gets difficult to tell. I have to smell. Mine smells like sawdust, which is quite a nice smell actually. Okay, what else? Okay, in here are some of the larger pieces that have been filtered out, and as I filter I just throw everything into here, and this turns out to be very good for adding some texture to trees, particularly the puffball trees. If you're going to be making them yourself, then once you spray them, this is a great way to cover, like let's say a first layer onto the puffball trees, and then you can spray with your white glue mix and add the flock. These Tea picked me up these. She knows how much I really like plastic containers now, so you know, another little vacuum bag going on there. So that's me for this week. I need to clean the track before I'm going to run any trains on this at the moment. I do have much more to do on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue building up this forest and completing this front section. I'm going to get this track and ballast really weathered in and overgrown and everything, so that the whole thing matches. I want this railway to be running through this scenery. So hopefully next time I'll have some more to show you. I hope you've enjoyed this quick update, and I hope you know, if you're building a layout like this, I hope you will try my techniques at making your own scenery, and if you do, let me know. I'm always available to give you some advice if you're making your own and you want to just do it without making all the mistakes that I did. So please comment. If you like this, please like, and please subscribe. I'll subscribe back, and I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Okay, bye for now.